There appears to be something very wrong at a Wisconsin elementary school. Now, we've told you before about Madison Bergman, a fifth grade teacher who resigned after shocking out.
Welcome back, everybody. Welcome once again to the Talk Podcast. And unfortunately, this is not a funny situation. This is not a gossip situation. This has nothing to do with, relationship topics, how we used to like it here and there. This has nothing to do with Sadia Khan. No. Once again, we are taking a look at the pattern that I said you guys should be aware of, right? Because it seems like no one likes to point it out. Isn't it interesting? Isn't it interesting how it's always the same kind of people? Oh, sorry. I'm sure you guys don't like me pointing this out, but isn't it obvious at this point? How many more cases do we need to reveal until something is going to change? And with change, I'm talking towards parents. How much more harm needs to happen to your children out there until parents finally wake up and realize we need to step up? We need to be more aware. We need to hold these people accountable. We need to come up with some kind of ways, rules, measures, so this does not happen. Because unfortunately, I might be the only one. But unfortunately, this seems to become the norm, right? What is it so bad for you to send your child to school, to kindergarten, to any facility that you think they will get taken care of? They will, get educated. They are protected. Why is that so wrong for parents to do? What is going on? Have we reached a time where parents can no longer send their children to school, to kindergarten, to healthcare systems without being scared that some woman is going to take advantage? I know it, men are involved in this too, but remember, I'm trying to point out a pattern. Think about it. When you think about school, teachers, caretakers, in healthcare, wherever, when you think, close your eyes and think about caretakers, who do you see most likely? You're going to see women. Majority of the people working in such jobs or field are going to be women. Now, we are finding these cases in the US, predominantly white, right? So largely, the women working in school, kindergarten, healthcare, whatnot, are going to be white women. I am not here saying that all white women are like this. I dare not. And also that would be very stupid. But within this sector that we are looking in, more and more, it's been revealed that there is a pattern. What have these innocent children done to you that you think you are allowed to mistreat them, violate them, abuse them, and take away their most precious? How much longer is it going to take for parents to finally wake up, stand up loud? You know how they always go outside and protest for all these nonsense, right? Everyone is protesting for nonsense, inclusivity, inclusive here, inclusive there, LGBT here, LGBT there. Everyone can go out for that. But how many times do you see families, parents, society, cultures, people in a community standing up against such behavior? You don't hear people protesting being vocal, outspoken when it comes to this. That's why I'm saying I am here to point out a pattern. How much more does it take for people to finally stand up? And also these institutions, these schools, these kindergartens, these healthcare facilities, all of this, the government, everyone involved who is supposed to be in charge of setting rules, boundaries, control systems. You should be asking yourself, do they really care? How is it that there's no way to find a system to control and detect such behavior earlier? It seems like they want this to happen. Whoever is they, choose, you make your own choice. This is painful, it's disgusting. And these innocent children did not deserve this. Boy or girl, I don't care. It is wrong. Think about this. The moment it is a man doing this, all hell is going to break loose, and which is valid because that behavior should be held accountable, should face consequences. But what is it with when women showcase the same behavior, especially white women? It seems to be all hush hush. It's not that big of a deal. The internet is going to go viral for teachers dressing a certain way. Okay, everyone wants to talk about that. I agree. There should be some etiquette. There should be some rules to how you present in front of your students. Definitely agree. But it's funny that everyone can talk about that, but when it comes to the actual crime, you don't hear people talking. Let me tell you something. We all know that white women, since I don't even know where to start, but from day one, have been portrayed in many societies, not just the West, all over the world. They have managed to portray themselves as the so-called better woman, good one, innocent. Oh, a white woman cannot do no wrong, right? A white woman is protected much more than anyone else. And now think about it. A white woman gets more protection than your children. We're talking about an adult. We're talking about an adult. Many of them are mothers themselves. We're talking about an adult who has proper training, who's well educated, who understands the law and rules. And yet, no one seems to do anything against it. When teenagers behave a certain way, everyone is so quick to come up with rules and regulations for them not to behave that way, right? But for white women, who you all are trusting your children onto, there are no rules. You guys can, I can come up with some rules, but I'll let you guys do the thinking, right? Because it is very interesting to me how the world goes hush, hush, hush when it's a white woman. But let a black woman dress because her body is built that way. Let her dress in pants that are sitting a bit tight on her skin. Everyone is gonna have an opinion. It's going viral. You might even hear it on the news. But it's funny how you don't hear all these cases on the news. It's funny how you don't see YouTubers reporting. It's funny how you don't see this going viral on TikTok. Hey, wait a minute. We need to do something. Hey, wait a minute. There's something going wrong. We need to pay more attention. These teachers, men or women, but today, once again, it's a woman. It's a white woman. It's interesting how these schools, the people employing them have no interest in setting rules and regulation. It could be so easy if you sign up to be a teacher and you want to educate um, young ones, right? They should not be allowed to have social media connected with their pupils, with their students. People need to start waking up. The moment your teacher, okay, the person you trust your children to, start behaving stupid on the internet, should be ringing bells. Red flags should be waving all over the place. How is it that there's no control system? Oh, you want to work as a teacher? You want us to trust you? Well, once a month, there's a general checkup on conversations you're having on your phone with said students. I know people are not going to like it, but something needs to change. Imagine they came up, at least just come up with an idea of a rule. Don't you think these people are going to behave different? Because now at least they know, ooh, someone is watching. There's a system behind that is wanting to truly protect these children. But there is none. That's why they feel so comfortable chatting up with your children on WhatsApp, chatting up with your children on TikTok. And parents are also far too comfortable. You just dump your child there, right? Give them to a stranger because they're called teacher. You don't care. You're not involved. You don't ask questions. Some of these parents are so stupid, I'm sorry to say, they allow their children to go to the home, to the private home of these teachers, sleep there, spend the day, spend the night. For what? Aren't you the parent? Interesting, isn't it?
Allegations came to light about her behavior with an 11-year-old boy. At the time, we knew.
The story with these 11-year-old is shocking. And the truth is, there are many, many more stories that are even worse. I will very soon show you a story from a teacher, another white woman, who is abusing children, kindergarten children. What can they do for you? You need to ask yourself, what a sick mind. What can an 11-year-old do for you? What are you looking for? What pleasure are you looking for? How disgusting are you?
A fellow teacher was accused of knowing about the so-called relationship and not reporting it, but now, as
Of course they know. Think about it. Look, wherever you work, an office, clinic, supermarket, you see the behaviors of your coworkers. You work with them all the time. You observe how they treat one coworker versus the other. You can observe how they treat one child versus the other. Are you gonna tell me people don't see when things are suspicious? Let me tell you, they do. They look away because everyone has become so comfortable. It has become okay now to abuse children, right? You cannot tell me other teachers are not aware. You cannot tell me that no one thought to themselves, the way Miss So and so is behaving towards these children is kind of odd. The kind of attention she's giving these children is kind of odd. You cannot tell me no one noticed this because you work with your coworkers. You observe, you see. And if you're someone in your right mind, you know how you work and how you behave at work, you should be able to detect when something is off. But let me tell you, they don't care. It's very, very hard to find a teacher that truly cares. Most of them are just going there, taking advantage, cashing their paycheck, and keeping a secret. While so many parents there They don't really want to be parents. They just like to call themselves parents. They put their kids in clothing, push them off to school, to kindergarten, whatever, and that's it. They feed them here and there and they think that's fine. They buy stuff for them and they think that's fine. They don't observe. They don't ask questions. They're not present enough. They are not present enough for these weird teachers to say, oh, that's a real parent behind that child. I cannot do this with this one. I dare not touch this child. I dare not cross these boundaries. At the same time, I'm asking myself, what a sick mind are you? And I don't want to hear any one of you guys telling me mental health issues. Because that's what they do. They're so quick to protect white women with mental health issues, right? When it comes to sexual abuse, the system is so quick to protect these predators with mental health issues. Follow these episodes, you will see what I mean.
As we learn more about her, this case has gotten worse. Welcome to Sidebar, presented by Law and Crime. I'm Jesse Weber.
When I tell you I'm a woman myself, yeah, I don't blindly trust other women. I will put this on a t-shirt. I forgive my language, but you cannot trust a bitch. You can't. And and it's hard to just blindly trust a white woman. You can't. I know what I'm saying, not because of sexual abuse, but I know what I'm saying, what I've seen, learned, and been through myself. When they want to use their powers against you because they know they are covered by so-called system. This is nothing new. This is not a secret. The world treats a white woman different than everyone else. The world treats a white woman and protects a white woman more than they would protect a minor.
There are shocking new details that have come to light about a major scandal at an elementary school in St. Croix County, Wisconsin. You may remember this woman, Madison Bergman, right? She faces nearly a dozen charges related to sexual contact with a child under the age of 13.
Jesus. Not one. Not one. I don't know how to excuse this. I'm sorry. I would never find a way to excuse this. But think about it. Not just like one, where some of you for sure will find a way to excuse it. A dozen. More than a dozen. Think about that for a minute. Let that sink in. And you guys want to tell me no one noticed? No one knew?
After she allegedly made out with an 11-year-old boy and carried on a wildly inappropriate messaging thread with him. Now, Bergman, who, by the way, had been set to get married when she was arrested in May of last year, oversaw a class of fifth graders at Rivercrest Elementary School. Now, we're going to talk more about her in just a moment, okay? But when all the details about Bergman started coming out, there was another fifth grade teacher, Abigail Faust, who resigned. Bergman's alleged victim told police that Faust knew about.
I want you all to keep these faces in mind. I want you all to keep these faces in mind and remember the pattern that I am trying to point out. I am not joking with this. There is a pattern.
About what Bergman was doing and didn't try to stop it. That alleged victim also revealed that Faust also had inappropriate contact with a student. And according to the New York Post, text messages between Bergman and the boy, of which there are tens of thousands, talk about.
Why would she try to stop it? Don't think about it. Why she knows something like this is going on, does not report it. Why would she try to stop it? Because she is just like that. They're the same. Birds of the same feather. You see how they flock together. They are the same people. Have we really come so far? There are no men out there? No other way to please yourself? No other way to find pleasure? No other way to go about your disgusting fantasies? Do you really need to play them out on children? Is that what we're doing now? Have we reached a point where there are no men and no other ways out there? And you need to now do this with children? If I'm telling you, I mean this so much, parents, you need to start waking up. Your phone or these phones, smartphones, laptops, tablets are not raising your children. The school system is not going to raise your children, is not going to protect them, is not going to guide them, is not going to lead them the right direction. You need to be involved in your child's life. You need to teach them from jump what it means to live in a trusted household. Communicate with them. Teach them boundaries. No one is touching you like such. No one is talking to you like such. If anything happens, you report it. This, that, and the third. But we have reached a time where parenting is not what it used to be. Parenting nowadays is, I'm going to push my child off to the school, right? I'm going to call myself mom and dad, have no idea what's actually going on in their lives. I'm going to dump the smartphone in front of them. All I do, I'm a good parent for offering internet and for offering the newest iPhone all the time. I'm a great parent, right? But you don't know what your children are going through, because parenting has no meaning anymore. How do you think these predators can be so powerful and actually go through with what they're going through? Because they know that many parents nowadays are not involved in their children's lives.
Alleged contact between Faust and another boy when she allegedly pushed him against a wall and kissed on the cheek. Faust was charged in St. Croix County with failure to protect a child, causing mental harm to a child, child enticement, and sexual misconduct by school staff or a volunteer. As news of those charges spread, a family in nearby Washington County, Minnesota, just across the border, they realized that was their nanny. That's right. This family had hired Faust back in 2021 to help watch their children, reportedly a baby who was...
Yeah, I did not add nannies into the list, but I hope you guys are smart enough to understand that they belong into the list when I said caretakers. How many of you there outside are so quick to just, because I have a little bit of money left over. I am tired. I like to call myself mom and dad, but I don't want to be involved in the caretaking. I don't want to be involved in raising the child. I don't want to be involved in cooking and preparing a good life for this child. Let me get a stranger, an outsider, someone I don't even know. I don't know their values. I don't know how they were raised. I have no idea, and just push them to my children and let them do whatever. And you think of yourself, I'm such a good parent. I have a nanny. I have a clean maid. I have a maid. I have this. I have that. You're a fool. You are a fool. I'm telling you the truth. You are a fool to bring a child to this world and then you just dump them away and say, the nanny's got to do it. But how many of you guys bring in nannies and then destroy your home? They take your husband and destroy your children. They take the most precious thing away from your children and take away your marriage. And your life is ruined because you didn't want to be a parent. You're lazy. You like to be on social media yourself, posting pictures, doing whatever instead of being a parent. People out there, if you're not ready and willing and committed to be an active parent in a child's life, please don't have children. Don't have children. Go see a doctor. Let them do the necessary procedures. Yeah, cut off what needs to be cut off. Give you medications that whatever. But don't bring children into this world if you're not willing to be a full involved parent. I am sick of people like that. No, the nanny's gonna do it. The nanny this, yeah. The nanny cooks. The nanny takes bath. Brings them to bath. Brings them to bed. Picks them up from school. The nanny has become the mother in the household. A nanny's job is to assist here and there. Maybe help you clean here and there. But nowadays, the nanny is raising the children. And I'm not trying to put all nannies into the same box, but remember the topic we're dealing with and use your head.
Was a few months old, a girl who was around 9 and a boy who was 15 when he claims Faust started sexually abusing him. And if that just wasn't heinous enough, the teen claims that Faust also started sleeping with his friend because some of the alleged contact between the teens and Faust happened in Wisconsin. Faust now faces 13 more charges. So 2 counts of use of a computer to facilitate a child sex crime, 5 counts of second-degree sexual assault of a child under 16 years of age, 3 counts of child enticement, 2 counts of exposing a child to harmful material, and 1 count of causing a child under 13 to view or listen to sexual activity. Now, we got our hands on the newest criminal complaint that was filed against her, and honestly, strap in because the details are very, very disturbing. So we want to get into this and to dig into the evidence that the police have compiled so far. I want to bring on back here onto the show former criminal prosecutor Dan Shore. And for anybody who doesn't know, Dan is also leading a sexual misconduct investigation firm that works with schools and educational institutions. And he is also an author who has a book that is unfortunately very similar to the content that we talk about. Isn't that right, Dan?
Yeah, it's called Open Bar, and it's about sexual misconduct at educational institutions. This is a wide-ranging issue that I see all the time in my work, and the book tries to show behind the scenes what really happens in these cases, not just what you see in the news. So it's always important to talk about these issues, and I'm glad you're covering them.
Interview and divulged absolutely sickening details. The criminal complaint reads, I asked victim 1 how he was generally feeling since the initial report of his sexual abuse was made. He stated, kind of gross, that he felt manipulated, and that he felt kind of used. Victim 1 became emotional, and I could see tears well up in his eyes. He recounted how Abigail over time became almost a member of the family. Victim 1 described how she would join the family when they went to their cabin, and more recently joined them on a vacation to the Bahamas. Before the sexual abuse began, he described his relationship with Abigail as normal. She would often sit with him while he played video games and helped him organize his manga collection. Victim 1 stated that the relationship changed in December of 2024. Now, Dan, this is interesting, right? So you're seeing, based on this account, Faust is seeing this teen a few times a week, right? You could say that maybe becoming more comfortable around her, but the onus is on her to keep this relationship professional. He's a child. Would you consider what we've heard so far normal activities? Is the allegation that this would look like grooming? And how do you differentiate between that and just doing her job as a nanny? I mean, that's the line there.
Right. And you flag a lot of important issues there because, first of all, most sex abuse, not all, but most sex abuse that I've investigated involves someone who is in a trusted position. And it could be a trusted person who's a teacher or a coach or a relative or someone's in some kind of relationship with who then abuses the privacy of that relationship and takes sexual advantage of another person. So unfortunately, it's not unusual to see a sex abuse case where someone is trusted by a family, put in a position of trust and abuses that trust. I think what makes it more unusual here is you have a 24-year-old woman who is a nanny taking care of a family and, according to the allegations, then starts a sexual relationship with a 15-year-old. The part where, in hindsight, we can look back at it as grooming, sitting with him, looking through different details of his life, talking about it. That's something that I think as a family hiring a nanny that you welcome, right? You want the nanny to be part of your family, interact with your family, be supportive of your family. And unfortunately, if these allegations are true, that access to the family led to taking advantage of this 15-year-old boy. And I think it's really important that now as a society, we've reached a point where we do take cases like this seriously. When I started my career as a sex crimes prosecutor 25 years ago, I think a lot of people did not take it seriously when cases like this involved an underage boy and defendant who's a woman, it was often seen as this wink, wink. Oh, I'm sure he wanted it because he's a teenage boy. And I think now we've recognized as society that this is serious sex abuse, that it can traumatize a young boy, just like it can traumatize a young girl, and needs to be taken seriously. And that's different than it was a few years ago.
So let me go through this a little bit more. So according to victim one, he and Faust were going through each other's memories on the Snapchat app. And this is when victim one came across a photo of Faust holding her breasts in a provocative way. She was clothed in the photo, according to the complaint, but it led to further sexually charged conversations between the two. That's the allegation. And that also allegedly led to more inappropriate messages and photos from Faust where she was wearing lingerie. This is according to the teen. And the victim says that Faust mentioned multiple times that she knew this behavior was wrong. Quoting from the criminal complaint, later, as her sexual abuse of victim one escalated, victim one recalled Abigail framing it as, "You know this is bad, I know this is bad, and we'll both get into trouble if you tell anyone." So when the two allegedly exchanged nude photos on this Snapchat app, he recalled her messaging him, "I can't believe I'm looking at a picture of a 15-year-old's genitals." He remembered her also saying through Snapchat, "I'm feeling grossed out at myself." Victim one recalled many instances where Abigail would, in summary, voice to him her realization that she was doing something improper. Now, Dan, knowledge is important in these cases, right? Compulsion, I don't know what it is. If you know it's wrong, why are you doing it? But awareness, that becomes critical for prosecutors.
It certainly is important to show consciousness of guilt, to show awareness, but it's also important to know that these crimes are statutory crimes. Statutory rape is a generic term for when there's an underage person and someone who's over the age of consent and there's a sexual relationship that is illegal. And in those kinds of cases, it's not a defense generally in the law that the person wasn't aware the person was younger. Although in this case, of course, she was aware. It's really a case of just, was there sexual contact between these individuals? Was one person underage? And that's enough to make it a conviction. But certainly all the awareness, I think that would go maybe not towards the conviction, because a conviction is based on the sexual activity and the ages, but sentencing, that someone was aware that it was wrong, that they were doing it further. I also want to add, I have a lot of investigations with Snapchat, and it's really tough as an investigator to deal with these cases with Snapchat because the messages disappear. It's hard to get them. And a lot of people in these relationships use Snapchat to cover up their communications.
Aren't they on the server, though? Like, don't they never really disappear?
Well, Snapchat has different responses to different people. Certainly, law enforcement can try to get them. Sometimes they do get them. But certainly, for someone making a case to law enforcement where they don't have those records, it's a lot harder. I know as an investigator, when I work with schools and they don't have subpoena power, we don't have access to the Snapchat records. So law enforcement can do a lot here, and they're doing it here, but it's very dangerous the way people are communicating so much over Snapchat in these sexual relationships involving sexual abuse, because then you don't have a record where you could show a friend, show a family member, show a teacher and say, look,
Right.
Here's what's happening, because those messages are gone.
Real quick, more psychological than anything. If somebody knows this is wrong, why do they keep doing it?
That's a great question. I think that criminologists are always trying.
Because they're evil. Because they enjoy hurting other people. Because it makes them feel powerful. Because that's the choice they made. That's who they are. And I hope whatever demon that is in you is going to eat you up slowly. I hope they put people like that in prison and they find their match. Someone's going to match that energy in prison. The same way you feel so comfortable to do that to children, someone's going to have fun with you in jail.
Trying to figure that out. Sometimes it can be the temptation of being in the relationship with somebody else. And also, people commit sex abuse for various reasons. Sometimes it's because they were victims of sex abuse when they were younger. Sometimes it's other mental health issues, that they feel lonely in their lives, that they're reaching out to somebody. And sometimes
I'm going to say something now, and I might be the only one. I do not agree with that. I do not take that. I do not accept that as a reason or excuse. I don't. I do not accept that as a reason or excuse.
it's about power and control. That's a big motivator in sex abuse cases I've seen, where someone likes the position of being in power and control over someone who is a subordinate, or someone who's younger, or someone who's a student versus the teacher. And that's unfortunately a motivator for a lot of people that are committing sex abuse.
Let's continue on. So earlier this year, this is when things escalated immensely. And this is when Faust started spending the night at victim one's home. Okay, this is the new allegation. Quote, on approximately January 17th, 2025, victim one recalled Abigail staying over at his house for the first time. I asked him how that came about. He indicated that Abigail would ask him and his sister to encourage their parents on Abigail's behalf. He described Abigail staying over several more times for the next few months. Now, when Faust would sleep over, victim one alleges that they eventually started having sex. He says on one occasion, the condom that he was wearing broke, and the two worried about whether Faust might get pregnant and what they would do if she did.
Ralf Schumacher?
Du willst wissen, wie viel dein Auto wert ist?
Ja klar.
Auf wirkaufendein.auto.de gibst du einfach deine Autodetails ein und schon hast du deinen Preis. Meine Empfehlung, hol dir jetzt deinen Preis auf wirkaufendein.auto.de.
But Faust also allegedly made comments about wanting to be in a committed relationship with him and eventually have children with him.
Think about the sick mind. You want to have children with a child. You want to have children with a child. A committed relationship, someone that does not even understand what commitment means. Children, they want to have playtime. They want to go out. They want to be free. They're not looking for commitment. And definitely not are they looking to become a parent when they're still children. How disgusting. I mean, I'm not that surprised. Look how disgusting she looks.
Now, the detective wrote in the criminal complaint, I asked victim one how he
I actually feel bad for her own parents because probably they're looking at this case, shaking their head and thinking, how, why, and what did they do wrong? What a shame, abomination, disgust. How I can't. I just can't.
felt about his relationship with Abigail at that time. He said that he felt, in summary, that they were both in an exclusive and loving relationship. They shared pet names like Honey, Baby, Babe, and Sweetheart. Victim one said that there were occasions when he was holding his younger brother where Abigail would remark that someday he would be taking care of their own child in the same manner. In April of this year, victim one and his family, they went on a trip to Florida, apparently, while Faust had been hired to pet sit, but she was allegedly using the family's home for more than just hookups with victim one. She brought one of his friends there too, according to prosecutors. Victim one told investigators that he was worried that Faust might be, quote, cheating on him with another teen based on Snapchat photos that he'd seen of a boy identified only as victim.
Parents, wake up. Okay? If you're the parent, you are definitely allowed to take that phone and go through it and look through it, who and what kind of conversations are on there. This Snapchat app, this demon app, okay? I said what I said. Parents need to wake up. I'm going to leave it at that. If you guys want to see the whole thing, visit Law and Crime. Take a look, take a listen, learn, and please educate people close to you that they need to wake up. They need to wake up. We can, even if you don't have children, I don't have children, not yet. We can all learn from this. So we will not become victims. So our children will not become victims. So our siblings will not become victims. Disgusting. But I'll say it one more time. There is a pattern. There is a pattern. And because they know how they are received by the world, by society, that's why they feel so comfortable doing what they're doing. Because they already know no one is going to see the pattern. No one is going to say anything. No one is even going to go there with their mind and say, what? A woman? A white woman? Nah. And that is the advantage that they are using. The fact that the world, for so many wrong reasons, have declared that white women get a pass with anything. Now they're using it. They're going to take that pass, even if they're not allowed to, even if they know very well that it is wrong, forbidden, disgusting, dangerous, bad, harmful. Find more adjectives if you want. Hope you guys I cannot say there's nothing to enjoy, actually. Have a good one.